Good afternoon and welcome to Spectrum News Within the Week. I am Rita Inung, coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu departs Abuja for Japan and Brazil. Governor Mo Eno concludes two-day intensive project inspection across the state. Plus, Trump, Putin and summit without Ukraine deal. Details of these stories and more in a moment. Good afternoon and thank you for staying tuned. We begin the news within the week from the national scene where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Friday left Abuja for a two-nation official visit to Japan and Brazil, with a brief stopover in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. The president's aircraft departed the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport around 11:15 a.m. with senior government officials including the Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, and Minister of Finance Wale Edun on the hand to bid him farewell. According to a statement on Thursday by presidential spokesperson Bayo Onanuga, President Tinubu will first participate in the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development in Yokohama, Japan, from August 20 to 22. The president is scheduled to attend plenary sessions, hold bilateral talks with world leaders, and engage Japanese business executives, including companies with existing or potential investments in Nigeria. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Friday announced a major shakeup at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, replacing the management team with new leadership. Veteran media executive Rotimi Richard Pedro has been appointed as the new Director General of the state broadcaster. Other key appointments include Katsina State's Karima Bello as Executive Director of Marketing, Stella Dean from Plateau State as Executive Director of News, and Sophia Isa Muhammad from Adamawa State as the Managing Director of NTA Enterprises Limited. Pedro, a Lagos native, is an accomplished media entrepreneur and consultant with nearly 3 decades of leadership experience in broadcasting, sports rights, and marketing. And in the meantime, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said Nigerians have no reason to be poor, reiterating his administration's commitment to promoting the growth of micro, small, and medium enterprises in the country. Tinubu made the statement at the 8th Expanded National MSME Clinic in Calabar on Wednesday. Represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, he said the country had boundless human and natural resources at its disposal. The president said Cross River as a state had the capacity to grow almost every crop because of its fertile land. Away from that, federal government in collaboration with the Nigerian Women for Agricultural Progressive and Development Initiative within the week launched Sovereign Agro-Trade System, SAS, a technology-driven platform to transform agriculture by connecting farmers to markets, finance and global opportunities. Speaking in Abuja at the launch with the theme, Building Wealth from the Soil, Digitally and Inclusively, Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Abdullahi, said SAS was an innovation that aligns with the President's renewed hope agenda. Abdullahi, represented by the Special Advisor on Strategy, Mohammed Sani, said SAS comprises 4 core digital tools: Agri-Exchange Marketplace for directing trading between farmers and buyers, Rapid Grow for microloans, saving and mobile payments, AgriCert for product traceability and quality assurance, and FarmerSure for data-driven farm management. Meanwhile, the government during the week restated its commitment to the completing Section 3 of the 61-kilometer Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway in Enugu State on schedule. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, gave the assurance during the inspection of the project site, which formed part of a wider citizens' engagement tour of the Southeast. According to the statement issued by the Special Assistant on Media, Rabiu Ibrahim, Mohammed Idris described modern road infrastructure as critical to economic growth, road safety and citizens' welfare. And in the meantime, the federal government on Wednesday approved the establishment of 9 new private universities across the country. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, announced the approval while briefing the State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council meeting, presided over by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja. He said the newly approved institutions are Taskiya University, Kaduna State, Leadership University, Abuja, Jimo Babalola University, Kwara State, Bridget University in Biase, Imo State, Greenland University, Jigawa State, Jeffap University, Niger State, Azion Verde University, Imo State, Unique Open University, Lagos State, and American Open University, Ogun State. Alausa disclosed that Tinubu's administration inherited 551 pending requests for the establishment of tertiary institutions, which were subjected to stricter approval guidelines. Elsewhere, Justice Raman Oshodi of the Lagos State Special Offences and Domestic Violence Court, Ikeja, within the week struck out a 60 billion naira fraud case against former Managing Director of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, Ahmed Kuru. Following the federal government's decision to withdraw the charges, the withdrawal was effected through the Director of Public Prosecutions of the Federation, MB Abubakar, who filed a notice of discontinuance on July 24, 2025. Recall that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had on February 11, 2025, arraigned Kuru on amended 6 counts bordering on conspiracy, stealing, and transfer of property derived. He pleaded not guilty. Meanwhile, the federal government on Thursday ordered the withdrawal of the case against musician Kwam and female passenger Comfort Emanson, citing wide consultations with critical industry stakeholders. The development came after Emanson was remanded in prison following the incident. A statement by the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, the recent events in the industry concerning unruly behavior of certain individuals are quite unfortunate. The minister, however, declared that valuable lessons have been learned by all sides to these incidents and airport security protocols. He also noted that this is a clear message that the aviation sector takes safety and security very seriously. Meanwhile, the federal government has also announced plans to engage Kwam as an after the recent controversy over his conduct at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. And in the meantime, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, within the week, called for the urgent reform of Nigeria's fire service law, describing the existing legislation as outdated and inadequate for modern rescue operations. Speaking at the decoration of the new Comptroller General of the Federal Fire Service, Olumode Adeyemi, in Abuja, Tunji-Ojo noted that the law guiding the service was enacted over 6 decades ago and no longer meets current operational realities. The minister stressed that the performance of the fire service should be measured by its ability to prevent loss of lives and property. Tunji-Ojo urged the new fire service boss not to expect universal approval in the course of his work, warning that leadership requires conviction and not popularity. And from the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives Committee on NG Care within the week threatened to name and shame states that may have collected money meant for palliatives but embezzled or diverted it to other users. Its chairman, Abubakar Kusada, issued the warning while addressing reporters at the end of a meeting of the committee. Kusada said the federal government has so far invested about 1.03 trillion naira on the program, but wondered why Nigerians have not felt the benefits it was supposed to bring. The committee chairman noted that the government designed the program as a social safety net to provide needed succor and relief to Nigerian citizens in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, the removal of fuel subsidy, and the unification of exchange rates with the attendant inflationary pressures and economic hardships. In another development, the Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed September 25th, and 26th, 2025 for the federal government to close its case in the decade-long trial of former National Security Advisor Colonel Sambo Dasuki, retired, over alleged unlawful possession of firearms and money laundering. Trial Judge Justice Peter Lifu directed the prosecution to call any remaining witnesses and tender all outstanding exhibits to prove its allegation before Dasuki opens his defense. Dasuki has been standing trial since 2015 on amended 7 counts filed against him during the administration of the late former President Muhammadu Buhari. On financial crime, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission within the week granted bail to former Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal after questioning him over alleged fraudulent cash withdrawals totaling 189 billion naira. Recall that Tambuwal, who governed Sokoto State from 2015 to 2023, was invited to the EFCC headquarters in Abuja on Monday. Arriving around 11:30 a.m., he was interrogated by investigators and subsequently detained at the Commission's corporate headquarters. In another development, the Rivers State Administrator Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibaz, retired, says political stability is steadily returning to the state through inclusive dialogue and non-partisan consultations with key stakeholders. Ibaz stated this when he received the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on Emergency Rule Implementation, led by Professor Julius Ihonvere, at the Government House in Port Harcourt. In a statement by his senior special advisor on media, Hector Ibikwobo, the administrator said reconciliation efforts and the willingness of political actors to collaborate had laid the groundwork for lasting peace. Ibas outlined ongoing reforms in the state, including leadership training and adjustment to the civil service salary structure, as well as a historic biometric verification of staff and pensioners to enhance transparency. And back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omar Eno has concluded a two-day intensive project inspection across the state, expressing delight at the large number of people, especially youth, engaged at different project sites. Fielding questions from Government House correspondents at the Arise report, the last point of the inspection exercise, he said the on-site project delivery meeting was motivated by a management philosophy referred to as management by working around MBWA and the need for an on-the-spot assessment of projects. The governor said the visit also afforded the team an opportunity to make lots of input and inject new ideas to ensure to meet the desired needs of the people.
This gives me an on-the-spot idea. All of us, commissioners, everyone, contractors, project delivery advisors, on-the-spot view and assessment of project. We've made a lot of inputs. We've done new ideas to ensure that we get what we want for the Akwa Ibom people. But what interests me much more as we go around, you yourself will see the number of young people that these projects have engaged. Everywhere we went, we were received by a tumultuous crowd of young men and women working on site, be they engineers, be they skilled workers, be they agriculturists, in all of these sites. In fact, we had a site where we had 2 female civil engineers as managing director of the organization. And so it gives me that joy that we are bringing out our youths. And I feel happy. We are here at the Arise Resort. This is the apartment. You can see what it is. This competes and compares with any luxury resort apartment anywhere in the world, anywhere in the world. And when I say so with all modesty that I've been around.
He commended Akwa Ibom youth for their active involvement at the different project sites and called on the people to shun every sense of entitlement and get involved for their individual good and that of the state at large. The governor stressed that the state under his leadership will continue to serve the general interest of the people rather than the interest of a few.
All I can say to our young people in Akwa Ibom is, let's leave this sense of entitlement. Government will not bring money to anybody at home. I don't care the protest, I don't care what you want to do, but for every young man, every young woman that is ready to work, Akwa Ibom today provides that opportunity for our young people, craftsmen, skilled men, skilled women to work. And all of the 23 projects we've been to, you have seen it yourself. So I like to encourage, particularly our young people, to come out, get things done with their hands, and stop sitting down to assume and blackmail government. Oh, money is not being circulated, money is not going around. Money moves and money gets to the hands of people that think and work with their hands. That's all I would like to advise. You know, I believe that we'll continue to progress on the Arise agenda under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We will continue to work for our people because the funds are there. And everywhere I've been to these 2 days, I've seen that happiness.
Government House correspondent Jane Uwa reports that some of the project sites visited included the Arise Senior Citizens Center at Ikono, Ibiono, Ibom local government areas, The CNG bus terminal at Odiok Itam, Itu local government area, flood control project at Itu local government area, the road construction project at Uyo Village Road, Uyo local government area, judiciary officers' quarters at Ring Road 3, International Conventional Center, and the Arise Shopping City. Also in the list were Ibom Model Farm in Situbium local government area, the agricultural equipment Also in the list were Ibom Model Farm in Situbium local government area, agricultural equipment leasing facility at Ekpiri Unsukara, Uyo International Terminal, airport clinic, aviation village and other projects at the Victor Atta International Airport, Dakada Luxury Estate Command and the Control Center. Finally, the Arise Resort. And still to come in the news, Dangote Refinery slashes ex-depot petrol price by 30 naira. Stay tuned for details of this in a moment.
Get ready for the exciting showdown, the biggest names, the toughest competition, and the most thrilling moments. From the gridiron to hardwood and from the pitch to the track. Join us for Sports Central, the most electrifying sports program on television, every weekday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Spectrum Television. Sports Central, your home for sports.
Welcome back to Spectrum News within the week. And now we take you through the rest of the news stories. To Africa, where thick smoke and raging flames have engulfed Amalay Forest in Morocco's Chao province as firefighting teams race to contain a massive wildfire, fueled by scorching temperatures and powerful winds. Reports say civil protection units, the armed forces, along with other authorities and firefighters, have joined forces to contain and reduce the blaze. Authorities say residents have been evacuated and teams remain on high alert to prevent the flames from spreading further. Meanwhile, Gabon's Council of Ministers within the week adopted a sweeping amnesty order covering participants in the 2023 coup and a failed 2019 uprising. The decision paves way for the release of detained rebels, including high-profile figures, while the government also outlines economic reforms targeting growth, deficit production, and job protection for Gabonese citizens. The newly approved amnesty order applies to members of the Committee for Transition and Restoration of Institutions, which ousted former President Ali Bongo in August 2023, as well as those involved in a botched 2019 coup attempt. Among the beneficiaries is Lieutenant Kelly Ondo Obiang, a former Republican Guard officer, along with Dimitri Minkom and Estime Bedima, who were sentenced to 15 years in prison for their roles in the 2019 rebellion. The governor said the decision is a step towards appeasement and national reconciliation, signaling a definitive close to years of political instability. On the foreign scene, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin made no breakthrough on their Ukraine at high-stakes summit on Friday, pointing to areas of agreement and rekindling a friendship, but offering no news on a ceasefire. And after an abrupt ending meeting, to 3 hours from talk with aides, Trump and Putin offered warm words but took no questions from reporters, highly unusual for the media-savvy U.S. president. He called the meeting extremely productive with many points agreed, although he did not offer specifics. And still on the foreign scene, Indian rescuers pulled bodies from mud and rubble on Friday after the latest deadly flood to crash through a Himalayan village killed at least 60 people and washed away dozens more. Torrents of water and mud driven by intense rain tore through Chisoti village in Indian-administered Kashmir on Thursday, leaving dozens missing, including Hindu pilgrims who were visiting the shrine. It is the second major deadly flooding disaster in India this month. Officials say a large makeshift kitchen in Chisoti, where more than 100 pilgrims were, was completely washed away by Kashmir Chief Minister. By what Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah reported was a sudden cloudburst rainstorm. Meanwhile, Arun Shah, 35, had just completed his pilgrimage with his family when the flood struck. Meanwhile, the Federal Court of Canada on Thursday upheld a ruling that classified Nigeria's two major political parties, the All Progressives Congress APC and the People's Democratic Party PDP, as terrorist organizations, while denying asylum to a former minister, Douglas Egareva, over his decade-long affiliation with both parties. In a judgment delivered on June 17, 2025, Justice Fong Ungo dismissed Douglas's application for judicial review after the Immigration Appeal Division IAD found him inadmissible under Canada's Immigration and Refugee Protection Act IRPA. According to the People's Gazette, the Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness had argued that the APC and PDP were implicated in political violence, subversion of democracy, and electoral bloodshed in Nigeria. Meanwhile, the wife of South Korea's former President Yoon Suk-yeol has been arrested over a raft of charges, including stock manipulation and bribery. Former First Lady Kim Hee denied all charges during a 4-hour court hearing in Seoul, but the court issued a detention warrant citing the risk that she may destroy evidence. Prosecutors say Kim, 52, made over 800 million won by participating in a prize-rigging scheme involving the stocks of Dust Motors. She also allegedly accepted 2 Chanel bags and a diamond necklace as bribes from the controversial Unification Church in exchange for business favors. Among other charges, Kim is also accused of meddling in candidate nominations during the parliamentary by-elections in 2022 and the general elections last year. On our business news, Dangote Petroleum Refinery within the week announced a reduction in the ex-depot gantry price of premium motor spirit PMS, also known as petrol, by 30 naira, from 850 naira to 820 naira per litre. A statement signed by the refinery's chief branding and communications officer, Anthony Chiegina, said the change took effect from Tuesday, August 12, 2025. According to the statement, the move was part of the refinery's unwavering commitment to national development, assuring the public of a consistent and uninterrupted supply of petroleum products. And still in business, the federal government, through the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, says it is taking aggressive steps to save the oil and gas industry, about $3 billion to $4.5 billion in operational costs this year. The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPCL, Bayo Ojulari, stated this in Lagos in a keynote address at the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists 50th anniversary celebration. Ojulari, who was represented by the company's Executive Vice President Upstream, Udobong Ntia, said the company has already drawn up a roadmap that could push the cost of savings target to 4.5 billion naira by December 2025. He stressed that the cost optimization drive is part of a wider national effort to attract $30 billion in fresh industry investment over the next 2 years and $60 billion by 2030, in line with the presidential directive. Meanwhile, the Minister of Blue and Marine Economy, Mr. Adegboyega, has drastically said he would cut Nigeria's dependence on fish imports by boosting local production through aquaculture development, improving artisanal fishing methods, and expanding fish farming clusters. He also unveiled initiatives to equip youth and women with the skills and resources to take leading roles in the marine economy. Oyetola pledged to expand youth and women participation in the sector, stressing that inclusive growth is vital for success. The minister noted that Nigeria is on the right path to unlocking the immense economic opportunities of its oceans, seas, rivers, and coastal resources, following the recent approval of the National Policy on Marine and Blue Economy by the Federal Executive Council. And still in business, the Chief Executive Officer of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, Michael Oluwagbemi, has said that Nigeria's compressed natural gas sector has attracted more than $980 million in private investment in just 18 months, with vehicle conversions surging from 4,000 to nearly 100,000. Speaking at the launch of the Portland Gas Limited and other outlets in Abuja, Oluwagbemi described the CNG program as the country's fastest growing energy sector, fueled by government incentives and private sector participation. Oluwagbemi said the transition to CNG offered motorists up to 90% savings on fuel costs. According to him, strategic partnerships and incentives have driven the rapid expansion of CNG capacity across the country. And still to come in the news, NPFL releases 2025/2026 season calendar. Stay tuned for details of this in a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned, and now we go over to the rest of the news stories. In health, the United Nations Children's Education Fund UNICEF within the week said that the rubella measles is one of the major causes of defects in newly born babies. UNICEF disclosed that if not detected and treated, the disease could result in permanent hearing impairment, birth defects, cataracts and blindness amongst others. UNICEF made this known during a sensitization training workshop for media practitioners, health educators and health workers on the introduction of the measles rubella vaccination, which will kick off in October 2025. UNICEF Niger State Lead Grace Odeyemi noted that it was necessary to intensify the campaign on rubella measles, particularly among pregnant women, saying that although it had been in existence globally for a long time, it was the first time the rubella measles vaccine was being introduced in the country. And still in health, the Nigerian Correctional Service NCOS has revealed a troubling mental health crisis within its custodial centers, disclosing that 8,246 inmates are currently suffering from mental illness. This figure was made public during the third public hearing of the Independent Investigative Panel on alleged corruption, abuse of power, torture, and other inhumane treatment by the NCOS held in Abuja. The Assistant Controller General of the Corrections in charge of medical services, Dr. Glory Essien, highlighted the harsh reality of incarceration and its impact on mental health, disclosing that 8,246 inmates have mental health conditions in its custodial centers. Essien further explained that the prison system relies on an internal network of trained inmate leaders who assist staff in identifying those showing signs of psychological distress. To sports news now. The Nigerian Premier Football League (NPFL) has released the schedule for the 2025/2026 season. According to the calendar, the new season will commence on Friday, 22nd August 2025. Defending champions Remo Stars will battle Rivers United in the opening fixtures in Ikenne. The NPFL will embark on a mid-season break from December 30, 2025 to January 6, 2026. Giving teams and players a chance to refresh before the second half of the season. Meanwhile, the mid-season transfer window will run from January 1st to January 30, 2026. And still in sports, Bournemouth have completed the signing of French centre-back Bafode Dakite from Lille for £34.6 million. The 24-year-old will cost the Cherries an initial fee of £30.3 million plus up to £4.3 million in add-ons, which makes him Bournemouth's second most expensive signing. He made 31 League One appearances last season as Lille finished fifth in the French top flight and also played 10 times in the Champions League. His arrival follows Ilias Abayi's becoming the third key defender to leave Bournemouth during this transfer window when he joined Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday. Meanwhile, UEFA within the week ranked the best leagues in Europe as the 2025/2026 season starts this August. In a post via UEFA's website, the Premier League is the highest ranked league in Europe based on their 5-season club coefficient ranking. The English top flight league holds the first place ahead of second position Italy's Serie A, behind Serie A, La Liga, Spain, Bundesliga, Germany, and French League One, France, in the top 5 positions. UEFA rankings are based by the performance of the club from every country in the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League for the last 5 seasons. And still in sports, Barcelona within the week announced that the Catalan club have received confirmation from the Spanish La Liga that their new goalkeeper Joan Garcia can be registered for the 2025/2026 season because of captain Marc-Andre Stegen's long-term injury status. The development allows the Blaugrana to alleviate their salary cap and facilitate the registration of additional players without breaching the financial fair play regulations. Recall that the length of Ter Stegen's injury led to a quarrel between the goalkeeper and Barcelona in the past weeks. However, Barcelona believed Ter Stegen's recovery period would be longer and as a result has now put the 33-year-old on a long-term injury list. On our entertainment news, singer Sean Kingston has been sentenced to 3.5 years in prison for his role in a $1 million fraud scheme involving luxury goods. Kingston, whose real name is Kishan Paul Anderson, was convicted in March alongside his mother, Janice Eleanor Turner, on charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 4 counts of wire fraud. Turner was sentenced last month to 5 years in prison. Prosecutors said Kingston used his celebrity status to obtain high-value items, including a bulletproof Cadillac Escalade, luxury watches, and a 19-foot LED television, without paying for them. Court records shows that he presented falsified wire transfer receipts and lured sellers with promises of social media promotion. U.S. District Judge David Leopoldowitz ordered Kingston's immediate remand after Friday's sentencing in the South Florida courtroom, rejecting his lawyer's request for a delayed surrender due to health issues. And still on the entertainment news, international rapper Nicki Minaj within the week congratulated Davido and his wife Chioma on their Miami white wedding. The rapper replied to one of Davido's posts on X where he had expressed his joy and satisfaction with his wedding celebration. This sweet gesture demonstrates the respect and admiration between the two artists. Their positive relationship was also evident in their collaboration on Nicki Minaj's song. Nicki Minaj praised Davido as an incredible writer and melody maker and appreciated their collaboration, stating that she asked him to feature on the song to bring out the Afrobeat tempo. Meanwhile, Afrobeat singer David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido within the week, revealed the tragedy of losing his son, Ifeanyi Adeleke, was life-changing. Speaking in a recent interview with reporters, Davido stated that losing his son changed his perspective about life and his career. He also said he was proud about how him and Chioma handled the loss and were able to bounce back. Recall that Davido and his wife Chioma lost their 3-year-old son Ifeanyi after he drowned in a pool at their Banana Island residence in Lagos State, October 2022. Lastly, in the news within the week, Nollywood actress Kate Henshaw within the week demanded justice for the younger sister of reality TV star Fina, who was critically injured in a road accident allegedly involving a Dangote Group truck in Auchi, Edo State. The victim, who had graduated just 6 days prior to the incident, underwent an amputation of one leg and risked losing the other. According to Henshaw, the truck driver fled the scene but was apprehended after an eyewitness identified as a lecturer chased him down. Recall that former BB Nanja star Fina had earlier taken to social media to call out Aliko Dangote after a truck allegedly linked to his company crushed her sister. And that's all we have for you at the news this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News within the week. I am Rita Inung. Enjoy the rest of your day.